Hi, good evening. I think it's quite difficult to get your attention after the previous nice session, with the beautiful dancers. I'm not sure if we they made it difficult for us actually. So please, bear with us. Just we're gonna have hopefully we'll have something interesting, but in the other way, inshallah. Thank you so much. Um, I think AI. I think today I would say the buzzword is everything is AI today. You cannot see in any article or any discussion, technology, business, finance, whatever you call it, unless you see AI is there. It takes me before we have that blockchain at a time. Being a technologist, it used to have a big also hype. Like everybody say blockchain, but today everybody say AI. But I think there is a big merit behind it. A recent study by BWC for our part of the world here, they said the impact of AI by 2030 in GCC and North Africa will be around $320 billion. The 320 billion US dollars, the most advanced country was UAE, Saudi, GCC, and Egypt. But UAE and Saudi was the biggest actually. Financial service was one of the most important sectors as well. So I think there is a great discussion we'll have today with my panelists. I will ask them briefly to introduce themselves. I know that there was an introduction, but quickly introduce yourself as a warm-up. Then we'll start with the questions. Please, Nitin.
Good evening. Nitin Bhargava, the Chief Operating Officer of Masraf Bank. Been in banking for 35 years now. So, seen some of the evolution.
It is one of the colleagues in the industry for a long time, and this is great to see all colleagues. Thank you.
Fawzi Sultan, CTO / Head of Projects and IT.
That's great, huh?
For Deem Finance. And thank you for using my AI-generated picture.
Oh,
we like that.
Great.
A lot more hair than I have now.
Oh, that's great.
Hi, I'm Shino Thomas. I'm heading the technology delivery and operation for AIinBank, mBank. I'm having 24 years of experience in the banking industry with multiple banks in the Middle East. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much, all. Nathan, we'll start with you. Introducing AI in any organization, it has a big impact on mainly the organizational structure, culture, and people, and so on. Especially in a legacy banking or a banking environment, which we are used to normal IT projects and so on. But today, AI is really very transformative. So we have to, how do you really take it in the banking industry?
It's a good question. In the recent times, there has been a transformation of a mindset as well. So from a few years back when there was phobia, now it's FOMO.
Okay.
Everyone is talking about engaging, artificial intelligence in their work.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of keenness. I think the accelerators has been from the central bank, UBF. Mr. Jamal was here. There is a Ministry of AI. There is a UBF panel as well, committee as well. So everyone is now trying to get on the bandwagon, in my view. So it's getting more easier to adapt to AI. We start, obviously, at a more or less risky areas, and there is few examples I'm sure we'll talk about. But to me, it is becoming an easy sell. People are asking for it more than we pushing it. What we try to do for 3-4 years now, since last year, it's like main focus on our committees is around the AI and adoption of AI.
That's good. So I think because there is now is a buzz which is happening, it brings the demand, the attention of your employees internally as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think that's I think this is where the media and PR and so on, as you rightly said, also the government initiatives also helping, having a AI minister. We have also AI framework for ethics and so on. I think this is all play a very good role definitely here. That's great. Thanks a lot. I talked to Deem Finance, being in financing now. How do you do priorities for your, where to start? There is too many things you can do in AI. AI, as I said, this is another problem too. because it's a buzz, everybody wants to do an AI. So how do you take it? How do you find the proper use cases for AI? Which one you think you go for?
Okay. So, interesting enough, 6 years ago, my younger daughter asked me, Dad, what should I do? I'm going to university. I have no idea. And at that young age, they have to make a decision on what they're going to do for the rest of their life. At that time, I advised her to get into AI. Based on what? Not what we have now, but what we had then, which is you walk into a room and the lights come on automatically. Why it came on automatically? Nobody knows. Sensors. Robots that were starting to take shape in terms of they can actually walk, and if they fall down, they can get up themselves. Based on that, right? So those are very product-oriented ideas of AI.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we're getting more into decision making. We're getting more into predictive AI. What can things happen? So, how does that help us in the finance area? I would say there's certain things in on a customer that can serve a customer, onboard a customer. So, as Mr. Jamal Saleh, who rightly said earlier, KYC. KYC is one thing that that before that we get into credit scoring.
Yeah.
To onboard somebody, to bring somebody to the level of actually know what they will spend, how much they will spend, how would they pay back what their spending is. So that is something I believe that from that the journey takes off and says, okay, the credit scoring will happen. How it will happen? Based on what? Based on all the data that's available out there now for people that do not currently have any credit scores. So based on the social media, based on their mobile usage, based on their DIVA bill payments, and other areas of spending, as well as some Instagram that shows them spending a lot more money than they make.
Yeah.
Right. So on that. So that's that. KYC, of course, is another area where I believe that it can definitely help. And then you have areas like fraud.
Yeah, I think it's
Real-time decisions, not just somebody making a decision after the fact. But while the transaction is happening, to be able to make that decision real time and to alert either the user or the owner of that card or the owner of that loan, or be able to alert our fraud areas early enough to catch it before somebody can actually make that transaction. So I believe these are the areas that it would definitely take shape in the future.
So this is, I think lowest hanging fruits you can do now for AI while you wait for something which is really, will come later.
Absolutely.
I think generative AI, for example, lots of use cases, we're thinking about use cases, but still I would say, you need to generate something. So in all cases, there is something maybe not mature today 100%, so you might need to watch this one, while the one which is pretty matured, you can go for it now. Right, I believe this is what you are doing, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, yeah.
Thank you. I think fraud detection, as you rightly said, because lots of fraud because of being online, everybody's online today. So I think the fraud detection is something really important, and this is what we even invite all the financial services companies like Nucleus and others to give it, to give it a more priority, because today with everybody's online today. Deep fake become something crazy. So I can just emit, as you said, you have your photo AI, we can have your voice using AI as well. And then I think it is another challenge we are facing. So we have to make sure really that we're using AI for this kind of great stuff to prevent the fraud, which it's increasing day by day.
Correct.
Especially we're getting open banking coming in the way. You're going to open your boundaries as a financial services company or a bank. Then I think that, you have more issues coming. So AI should help you here in that one.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Shino, bringing AI into a legacy or into the banking environment is not that easy, because you talk about very, advanced technologies. I know that you are a digital bank, community bank, you are new as well. But still the core banking is the core banking, okay? It's not really, yes, we have few core banking, which is, for digital banks, but it's still a core banking, is still done also in the legacy, era. So how do you bring all this together,
Yeah. Right, Mohammed. I think this is the right question asked. As we all know, data is the key input for any AI model. And typically in a bank, we have now multiple systems doing multiple functions. And even if whether it's a digital bank or incumbent bank, you could see the core systems would be mostly legacy systems will be used, and also multiple systems used which are of legacy in nature. So in order to have a seamless data flowing into the AI, you could have different approaches taken, because it's not easy to have data taken out from these legacy systems to give us an input to the AI. So the strategy or the approach most banks or we take is one approach is we use modern technologies like API gateways, wherein I can connect to multiple legacy systems and pull data and can be a feed to it. So that is one way to do that. And typically these approaches uses where in a case wherein you wanted a real-time data to be fed into a AI model or an AI system which is working. The second thing is, like I mentioned, multiple business functions is catered through multiple systems. The issue there comes is, one is the data is isolated. Second is you have different version of the data in different places. You have the same customer sitting in your core banking, your same customer sitting in a subsystems in a load origination system like a Nucleus system. So you don't know exactly where is the master data sitting. So this is again a challenge. So what data you will feed it to the AI system. So here again an approach we do usually is, how do we pull information and bring it to a data lake, which will make us a central repository, and also create a master data against it. So you have one source of truth for a customer about his demographic details, about his contact details. So you have one source of truth. Plus you also sample informations and synthesize it so that it can be fed easily into AI models, and you get a more accurate result with it. So in my view, yes, legacy system, this cannot be avoided, because over a period only you will be get rid of it, because most of the vendors like Nucleus, they would have come with a new version of their system, which collection system, which is working on an AI model behind it. So the upgrade would bring that benefit. But till that point, you have to use techniques like API gateways, pulling data to a data lake, and circumvent these challenges and then move forward.
Thank you. I think what you mentioned is very important, really. I think the data is the most important things when you go for AI. And I think what we faced really here, the data quality, the data availability as well, all of this is very, very important. And just to let you know something, I co-authored the paper, which is still not being published by Arab Monetary Fund, about AI, using AI in the Arab world in banking. And I think too much data sometimes is not good, too little data is not good. So sometimes we think too much data is okay. Sometimes you make noise here. So you have to get the right data actually for a model to be able to get, the right answers and the right feedback. Tuning as well, this model, it does take time, but the data is the most important thing rightly, which really we face the problem in the legacy world here. Thanks a lot, Shino. Going back, Nitin here, the most things, important thing would people talk about the ethical AI. And I think I've seen something, it was written here, how can you use AI for good? Because now we, as you said, we can see there is lots of use cases. You can do bad things with AI. You can data privacy, and all of the stuff. How can we, ensure that there is a framework for AI, ethical AI, within our organizations? We don't exploit people's data or information, face recognition, and all of the stuff. How do we do that in banking?
It's a good question. I think it's the overall framework is evolving as we learn.
Yeah.
To me right now, I don't think, at least at our stage, we have the final answer. It evolves. I read somewhere, the 3 Gs of putting an operating model around ethical AI and all.
Yeah.
3 Gs being guardrails, gateways, and guardians.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And it's a borrowed wisdom, not mine. But so guardrails is when you see that, the AI is working as you would like it to be. It's not
Yeah.
go everywhere, and because it's not rule based, so you can, as you said, can become a bit unethical as well.
Right.
The guards make sure, when you talk about transparency, talk about control, there is proper governance around it as well.
Yeah.
So it's an evolving process, and I do feel, as we learn, we have to embed controls in AI as we start adopting. We talked about great examples on fraud or even processing. We use it for fraud, we use it for compliance, we are using for credit. We in the previous panel talked a lot about credit decisions. Now that again, if incorrect data is fed, you can game the decision. So that's what we need to have, the right controls and the right checks and balances around it.
Right.
So that way the 3 Gs will
Yeah.
help in controlling it. Other thing that we have been doing, because we are very careful in adopting it, is around doing some sandboxing as well, to do parallel runs to make sure that we're training. I mean, we talk about data, so that's no brain, that's a given. But how do we train the AI to get the right decisions as well?
Yeah.
So it takes time, keep training it, and as and you get more confidence, you let it run on its own. So those kind of guidelines and governance is also very important.
Thank you. I think what you said is really very important, especially the sandboxing. And, it does take time, really. I used to tell people a lot. I do consulting advisory before when I give finance. And when I tell people C-level and so on, it does take time to put an AI system in place. You have to tune the system. It's not like you're doing a BI or any project or core banking, from A to B, done. But here you have to put the model, the data, you have to train it, you have to see if it's okay or not. You have many things around, but lots of parameters you need to use here as well. And as you said, you have to see the governance framework to make sure that this is doing the right thing. Of course, if we go about the AI ethics and governance, we're going to have something very nice, but this is need a big, maybe a panel, which is the accountability. When AI model take a decision, who will be accountable? And that's very important because, when I take a decision as a human, I'm accountable for the decision. But if you let the algorithm take a decision and the algorithm done something, try it, for example, who will be responsible? And I think this is a debatable and very, very important, issue. You can even Google it and see, because this is something, that's why you see most of the AI models, or many of them, it come if there is something which is, important, dangerous, or blocking someone who does something, then you can go for a human to say yes or no. So we have to see the accountability as well when it comes to governance and framework. Thanks a lot, Nitin. Fawzi, we talk about, as we said, fraud detection, controls and so on is important. But, all CEOs and everybody wants to make money. Could we use AI for something new to generate revenue? And I think that's what everybody is aspiring that this will have. Bringing a product which has never been there before, for example, and which can make money for the organization or something like that.
Yeah, so I think the final decision in making money lies with the CEO.
Yeah, that's different.
And the process, not the process only, but also what is the best for the business. And we've come a long way because of that, because the right decisions that were made by our CEO and how he's guided us to where we are now. Yes, I think there are different areas where we're trying to use AI, but I think one of the key areas for us is how do we get more traction in the market? How do we get new customers? How do we, keep the old customers? And I think some of the tools that we've implemented help us do that by, each one of us has websites or onboarding solutions or mobile solutions that newcomers, new customers try to see what are the offerings, right? And then they drop off. And I'm sure a lot of them
and are you people have the same? Yes,
exactly. So how do we bring that person back to us, and and then convert that to a new customer? I mean, to a potential customer, to a new customer. I think those are the kind of tools I think that will help drive the new customer,
Revenue.
from new customers.
You are right. So you don't need to create a new product for revenue, but you can use this tool to bring the customer back,
Right.
and or even sell more to the customer as well. You know,
Correct.
if you do some kind of, I done an algorithm with a company in banking, where we could see the hot leads. You know, who we have to talk. You know, I get
Absolutely.
1,000 calls per day. Which one is really I can call and can get me a revenue?
Absolutely. And then also some current customers that we have, also, browsing areas that the services that they haven't actually used yet. So we can also cross-sell
That's true.
those customers. So I would say, yeah, there are tools out there that
Definitely, this is a good way, definitely,
Yeah.
to look at that and bring more revenue for
Correct.
even the same customer. Look,
Correct.
new customer as well,
Correct.
same customer.
or upsell or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Thanks a lot. Shino, like now we come to, being in IT, how to get the resources, the talents, We talk about AI a lot. Everybody wants to have the algorithm, but how do you bring, the gap of having the talented IT technology as well as businesses as well, which can really build these models? How do you, handle this challenge?
Right. So in especially I think at the end, how do you implement it is the value we will derive from it. So in that sense, we need to have the right skill set at different areas to have the implementation conducted. So in my view, the skill set is also slightly vary based on what is the use case you are going to apply. For example, like we mentioned, fraud management, credit decision making. These are all AI, ML directly working on the data to produce informations or come to the probability of defaults or to detect that, okay, what is whether it is a fraudulent transaction or not. This is again you're against very pointed use case or your data which is happening. But at the same time, if you look at the customer's touch point level, at a customer service management level, there it is little bit not just your non-data, it is actually also a generative AI also helps actually, wherein how do you respond back to the customer, understanding the natural language processes. So the skill set and this thing required there is different. So in for me, what I want to say is at an operating model level, what you need is one is you should have an AI product manager who actually envisage actually what is the product you are trying to build at all these cases. So from the business inputs come from that AI product manager level, comes to the technology side based on the use case you are doing. So if you are working on a credit decisioning or credit probability default, you should have AI ML engineers who actually work on the data as a data engineer. You have data scientists who actually understand and derive the correlations and then fine tune and learn on your data. So this is again a skill set which you need. And an underlying level, again, data is the key. So you have data analysts and data engineers who really contribute to it. Plus, many of these language models which is used is either Python or to fine tune your models. So in such level, actually, they should have a skill set to understand the Python. So, but wherein if you come to the customer service management or that area you're working, I think you should have some level of an understanding of the NLP. Most probably these NLPs are already like many of them, the big technology providers are providing it. You don't need to reinvent it, but at least somebody who can actually utilize and do it. And going forward, my thinking is that you are not going to make models. Actually, the models will get anyway popularized by big techs, and your ability to compete is how well you can think as a AI product owner, what use cases you can think, how can you apply, and how intelligently you can apply this model in you will be that advantage is where you will be able to get it.
Great, thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Let me take the last question would be for all, and then we'll close in case of any question here. If there is any financial services organization going to embark on AI today, with this evolving and rapid speed in AI development, what's your advice to them? How to start? Whatever advice you would like to give from your expertise. Nitin and everybody, you can just please answer. Start from there. Yes.
I think you start with smaller use cases. Like your organization will be of different size and nature. Suppose you may be a big bank, then you have lot of large resources sitting behind. You would be able to, even you may be a small entity, you may not have start. So regardless of your size, I think you can start small something. For example, in my previous places, I have started with the existing engineers to see efficiency in development, actually in technical development itself. So you can easily get with Copilot, etc., 30 to 40% of development operational efficiency. So it is up to like 30% more developers working for you to accomplish that. You can take use cases which help on, take one use cases, try to improve on it. So you can start small and then start scaling it, and then bring and also it is also difficult at initial stage to bring in all the resources in house. So whereas you can actually rely on some relevant partners.
That's
and
very
then
valid
start,
point.
yeah, and then start small. Then you learn it, and then you understand it. Then you start bringing that capability in house. So this all are the different.
Thank you, and I think this is really very valid. Start small use cases, get some answers, get people to be happy, excited about it, and move on and use partners, because you cannot do everything today by yourself.
Yeah, I think it depends where you are in the journey.
Yeah.
The first thing I would say, and I think we also had to learn this, was have the data.
Yeah.
In the right order, to start.
Very valid too. Yes, you're.
And then of course, like Shano said, is start small.
Yeah.
And don't think of this as just another tool that you're going to implement, but look at real cases, real problems that you're trying to solve with this. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's really valid, the data, you're right. And then the small use cases and partners. This is 3 great advices. Please, who goes with you?
I mean, all the answers have been given.
Yeah, was given.
But I'll tell you, I have I'll add to this. I think we should start with the business case. What does the business want?
Thank you.
IT can come, I think it's becoming easier, but what does the business want? Then you talk about data as a base of the pyramid, then you talk about people, then talk about tools, and then you talk about the specific use case to start small and then build it.
Yeah.
But if it does not solve, you ask this question, right?
Yeah.
What's the money question?
That's
right?
true.
What's the money answer?
What will bring?
Yeah, we can bring controls, tools that I can do, but real value will come when I can have the insight.
That's true.
The ability to offer the right product, right time, all that will come. But you have to build, as I say, have the right tools, right data, right people. But again, business case, I can do my ticket solving and all internally, but what's the gain?
That's true. I think I used to say before, you need to fit technology into your business, not the other way around. So you have to make sure that this use case for a purpose. There is a need for it today, and AI can play a role. Because many things, as I said, it might not be an AI. You might be something else. You don't need to. So
and you talked about overall governance, right? It has to be a collaborative effort. It's not just technology or operations or the unit. It's everybody.
That's
risk, compliance, credit.
And it's not IT at all. Yeah. And I used to tell people, by the way, don't have an AI project. Nothing called AI project. Nothing called blockchain project. Nothing to do, it's a business thing. You have to say the business. What is the business? What's the project for, actually? Thank you so much. Really, it's great learning for me. Anybody has a question here? Yes, please. Excuse me. Can you give a microphone?
Mohammed, actually, this question is for you, mate. All of these papers you're writing for the Arab region, all of the stuff that you've been involved in, where is all of the ethical stuff around Islamic banking and ABC? Where is the connection of AI into Islamic banking, Islamic industry, Islamic anything? Where is that purpose, process, and where do you see it evolving to?
Thank you. It is to me to answer. Thank you so much. You want me, and really appreciate you being here. You are one of the masters in Islamic banking and finance. As you rightly, maybe you said the answer in your question here. AI, the ethical use of AI, the first principle, do good, not to do harm. I think the English word as well is a little bit difficult for me to pronounce now. So the most important thing in Islamic finance is for humanity and for people. That's why when we do Islamic finance, we make sure that we are distributing the wealth. That's why we have buying, selling, and so on. We try not to have only interest on money. There is money is a way of moving services or products and so on. So you are trying to make the benefits for everyone. And if you look at the AI ethical AI, I think there is 7-8 ethics in AI, and European Act is very important. You can look at it, is showing that anything will done from AI or technology should be good for humanity. The same, if you look at Islamic finance, it says the same. It try as well not to make that you are concentrating the wealth in the hands of some people. No, you have to do. That's why selling and buying and selling products is allowed in Islam, while the interest rate and so on is not. So I would say that the analogy is very big here, because it's all good for humanity and ethical finance. Thank you so much, really, for asking. Thank you so much. I think this is one of the best questions. Thanks a lot. You are bringing us to, as I said, you have to do what's great for people and humanity. And I think AI, hopefully, this is what we are trying, all aiming for, inshallah. Thanks a lot, and really appreciate the great things from my panelists. Please join me to thank them.